Now let's have a look at the latest of what's been happening in Iran. Protesters can be heard chanting "Death to Khamenei," the supreme leader of Iran, who has been in office since 1989. The demonstrations, which the country's authorities were trying to prevent, have reignited as Mahsa Amini's death anniversary approached. Mahsa Amini's father was detained outside his home after the family said they were planning to gather at her grave for a traditional service of commemoration. Fires have also broken out as hundreds of people continue to take to the streets in Iran. There are also reports of heavy security presence in downtown Tehran. Well, let's speak now to our reporter, Sahar Zand, who's across this story. Hello to you, Sahar. I mean, we were discussing this yesterday. People were getting organised. You knew these protests would be taking place. Obviously, it's quite hard to get information out of Iran due to the restrictions on the press and social media. What do we know at the moment about what happened yesterday and is still happening now?
Yes. Like you said, it's really hard to get information out right now because of the bad internet and because of restrictions on social media channels. And also because of security reasons, protesters tend to not take their phones out when they go, because if they are arrested, their phones and any footage, any information on it can be used as evidence against them. But we do know that protests did happen across the country. Some videos still emerge despite these restrictions, despite these risks. People are risking their lives, they're risking arrest, and, they're risking a lot by just sharing these. But we know that these protests happened across Iran. They were particularly big in some of the biggest cities. And we know that the security presence was particularly heavy, armed security. They were at every street corner making sure that they stopped any protest. There are reports of protesters having been shot at with pellet guns, with tear gases, and we know that hundreds lost their eyesight last year through the same methods. Hundreds again lost their lives. So the same thing is happening.
And, we talked about this campaign of harassment that families of protesters have experienced since the protests began a year ago. I mean, the fact that people are coming out onto the streets still knowing, that 500 protesters were killed last year, tens of thousands locked up, and some were even shouting death to the supreme leader. What do you know about, at the moment, the sort of punishments that people will be facing for that?
I mean, they're risking everything by going out. They're risking arrest, harassment, even death, But last year, what started the protest, what sparked the protest was the killing of Mahsa Amini. But since then, over 500 people were killed, 7 executed. And now people have 500 more reasons to come out and fight. And that's why they're coming out and continuing to fight. And the intimidation to stop that continues. The authorities know this. The latest development is that a few high-profile celebrities, including actresses, athletes, have been arrested yesterday for merely showing their support, not even directly on social media.
OK, extraordinary bravery there from those protesters. For now, thanks so much, Sahar Zand. Staying across the situation